Welcome to the realm of magic and mystery, classic horror and sci-fi. You are now entering the House of the Unusual podcast with your hosts, Eddie and Joe. Welcome all you cool ghouls and friendly fiends to the House of the Unusual podcast. I'm your host, Joe Pavlansky. With me, as always, are my good friends, Eddie Guevara, Chuck Caputo, and Cheri Caputo. What's up, everyone?
Hello.
What's happening? How are you?
All right, good, very good. Coming off of a long but fun weekend at Monster Bash, I had the extreme pleasure of meeting up with Chuck and Cheri Caputo. So I had a wonderful time there, guys.
Oh, we did too.
Yeah, Bash was just great, and we're gonna get into a little bit about some stuff at Bash, some of the movies, and some of the movies that we talk about that we've seen at Bash. We're gonna make them our movies of the week. So if anybody out there is looking for something new or pretty cool to watch, we got some plenty of movies for you. But before we get into that, just some real quick house cleaning. Then I'm gonna turn it over to Chuck, Cheri, and Eddie and see what's new with them. But guys, everyone, mymoviemonsters.com. Scary Monsters number 128 is now shipping. It should be at your local bookstores, Barnes & Nobles, and whatever other ones are out there that sell books. I don't even know if there's like a Walden's or who knows, what's in your area. But guys, if you got a bookstore, check it out. You should have Scary Monsters on the bookshelf. Number 128, the All Hail the Horror Host issue should be out. Great cover by Scott Jackson. And yours truly has a little article in there as well. Also, Castle of Frankenstein number 36 is coming this fall sometime. They are having pre-orders for it. It's picking up from the original run. The people at Scary HQ, they do have the legal copyright paperwork for this. They fought for it for years to get it. They finally got it, and they are putting out Castle of Frankenstein now under the Scary Monsters line. So definitely check that out. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, yeah. Guys, don't forget about this. If you go over to the forum under the Mastery Mystery Robot Model Contest, time's ticking down. You got till October 31st, 2022. That's this year. That's coming up in just a few weeks.
That's around the corner, man.
Yes.
Yeah, real quick, guys. So you have to, get your model done, get us some photos. So the rules are simple. Just head over to 1878press.com, and that's 1878press.com. Go to the product page. You'll see Houdini Mastery Mystery Robot Model Plans. Purchase the plans. Wait anxiously in the mail for them. Get them, cut them out, glue them, tape them, put them together. Send us a photo or video with you and your newly made Mastery Mystery Robot model. And we're going to do a little panel. We're going to check out what we got, and we're going to announce the winner. And what does our winner get? None other than Eddie Guevara. I mean, no, not Eddie Guevara. Hold on, wait. We are going to get a 7-foot Frankenstein monster poster, a value of over $140.
Wow.
Nice.
So you definitely want to check that out. And if you go on to the House of the Unusual forum, you can find all the links there and a photo of the poster as well. So make sure you guys get that in. And what else do we have here? I think that's it for our house cleaning. Yeah, that's all we got for right now. So I'm going to turn it over to Eddie Guevara. Eddie, what do you got for us? What's new?
Well, I was sad that I wasn't able to go and meet up with you guys in Monster Bash.
Yeah.
The thing that I found interesting, Joe, is when you posted those pictures of that movie theater, I got to tell you, I'm definitely going to the next Monster Bash.
All right.
Yay.
Good.
To do that and watch the giant, movies like Dracula on that big screen,
Oh,
that must have been pretty exciting.
Were you looking at the ones from I think the ones for Dracula on the big screen, the actual theater, that was from August. Did you see the new ones for the hotel one?
Okay, no, I didn't see the new ones. I thought it was just the one in August. That movie theater, is that by Monster Bash or is it somewhere else?
No, that one's actually in about like middle of Ohio, and they just do it's just a film festival. They play movies there. This one's separate from that. It's ran by the same people, but it's separate. If you go on the the forum site, I posted a bunch of pictures of what the inside of the hotel does. You know how they kind of fix it up, and I think there's some of the movie room as well. But it's absolutely beautiful the way they do it.
I think, now come to think of it, I don't know if I saw the movie, but I was watching some of the pictures. But I got to tell you one thing, the difference between basically, and I hate to say this, Chiller and the Monster Bash is that the Monster Bash seems, for some reason, very well organized. Everything looks super clean, stuff like that. When you go to Chiller Theater, it kind of looks like a flea market that had a rough day with people. People got things on their table and the floor in front and the back, and you're trying to walk down the hallways, and it's like 1,000 people in front of you.
Well, I know Ron and his crew, they've been doing the bash since 97, and they have a crew of, oh man, I 30, 40, 50 people there. You'll see them all in orange shirts, and there's just a ton of them, and they're everywhere making sure that place runs like a well-oiled machine. Yeah, it does run fantastic. There's, they have, I think at the front desk, where people sign in, or get their badges or pay for it. There's like 5 people there, so you're never waiting in a line. It's constantly moving, and it's just a great time. Now, this October one was a lot smaller than the June one. The June is their, of course, their main one, and is a lot larger, a lot more guests and vendors there. So they have a lot more helpers as well. And that one even runs smooth. So, yeah, they do a great job of it. I've been to some conventions before, comic conventions and all that. And you're right, Eddie. It's like you're walking in through a flea market where, I don't know, a strong wind came through and just blew stuff all over. And, it's not well organized. Things are running late, and it's,
well,
it could get bad.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, I think the most organized one in Chiller is probably, or he tries to be the most organized, is the one guy he's my buddy there. And I got to tell you, though, he has like a lot of really rare stuff, and that's a good thing. But it gets to where the booth, they're putting things behind the booth in the middle center aisle. Like there's so many, I don't know if it's because of the amount of people that go to Chiller. And then again, Chiller, I think it's been around since like 1984, 85,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just that the people getting tired. And then also Chiller has moved around 4 times.
Oh, wow.
Every time that it's in a really nice hotel, and we'll get used to it, they put it in another. Now, the one they have it on now is not as great as the one they had it on like 5 years ago.
Do they do that to make it, is it a bigger, like a larger hotel, or what's the reason that they move it around?
I think the reason they move it around is not because it's a larger hotel. I think what it is they move it around. I don't know. They've had reasons that the hotels hasn't renewed it. But then again, I can tell you though, when I looked at the movie you guys were sending, or Chuck, it looks like there's a certain amount of people that go there. You know what I'm saying? But in Chiller, it's a madhouse. It's kind of, and that's the reason I stopped going to Comic-Con. The only time I ever attended Comic-Con was when the book signing for Mail Order Mystery, where Kirk Damaris was being done. And I remember that me and Kirk would say, hey, let's go see something. And then every time we left the booth to go see something, it was like trying to go in New York City in the rush hour. If you go the wrong way, they run you down.
Yeah, June Monster Bash, it gets packed on usually Saturdays and Sundays, but it's not as bad as some of these photos I've seen from like Comic-Con, where it's, you're shoulder to shoulder, chest to back, and it's like, and I'm like, how could you even enjoy something like that? You can't move any. It'll take you an hour to go from one table to another.
It's just, yeah, exactly. And when I went to Comic-Con, that's what I found in the Jacob Javits in New York. You're walking up and down the aisles, and you're trying to hope that they let you go next to a table. So you're going like in a line, like in a train. Can I get off in this one, And it was such a thing that I never went back again. And I have a friend in my job that goes for the 3 days, and he pays $600-$700. And I'm like, that's crazy, because Comic-Con is getting pretty expensive.
Hey, Eddie, real quick, while you're talking, I'm going to step away from my computer because I got a little monster in my throat that needs some water. So I got to run real quick. So if you guys don't hear me for a second, I'm running to go give him a drink. I'll be right back.
It sounds good. But one of the things I was saying, especially you, Chuck and Cheri, is that
Uh-huh.
I believe overall, and I saw that, and it's very, very well done. I mean, I'm
Absolutely.
shocked at the arrangements that the people have, the vendors, and where it looks so neat, where it looks like you can just go up there and it looks like it's a store
Right.
in a very nice, prestigious neighborhood type of thing, you know?
Uh-huh.
If you look at some of the, in fact, you can look at it by looking at the movie I have there of Chiller with the background noise,
Right.
Mm.
and you will see that everything is like, it's a table that they put as much thing as they can fit on top of the table. Sometimes it's not organized. Sometimes they'll have coffee cups and water cups, everything on top of the table next to where they're doing. Even if you see the people that are signing autographs, their tables look a mess. Sarah Karloff is pretty well. I like the way she does her table. She's kind of really neat on it, but it's like a few things. Everybody else is kind of like
Right.
all over the place, you know.
Right.
And I think it's the shoulder to shoulder crowd, and that's why we go Friday, because Saturday is not really cool. But
Mhm.
anyway, maybe it is too that I've been going for almost 16, 17 years already,
Hmm.
twice a year, and we only miss during COVID. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Wow.
So it might be where I'm just tired of seeing the same thing over and over, you know?
Over and over. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like just, skip it for a couple of years. But then, I could even tell you some of the vendors that go there, and I know about 2 or 3 just gave up and stopped going after like
Mhm.
20 years.
You know what,
Wow.
Eddie? I seen the same thing at Monster Bash over the years, and I've been going since 2012. That there was usually first few years there's a core group of vendors that would always be there, and I haven't seen them in a while. I don't know if they stopped doing it or if they weren't making the money at
Well-
Monster Bash. I don't know.
Well, I think it's not just not making the money. I think that one of the reasons they do this is, like, say, for example, the one vendor. I met this vendor way in a mall by my house over 40 years ago, and he's got to be the best airbrush person I've ever seen. Like when he airbrushes, this guy's like top notch. And he started doing chiller for years. And like after 20 years, I see him in the mall. I go, "How come you weren't there last night?" He goes, "You know what, Eddie? It's the same thing. You go set up." And he goes, "I know you make your money back, whatever, but you don't make sufficient or whatever to." He just says, "I'm just tired of chiller. I'm not doing it no more."
That's a
And
shame.
I said, "Really?" Because he goes, "You know how long it takes to set up the table?" And not for nothing. Another thing I noticed about Chiller that I didn't see in the Monster Bash, and I was kind of like surprised. Like I really want to go to Monster Bash, and I told Jim we're gonna have to go now and whatever, and the June one might be the one for me to go to. But one thing I'm going to tell you too is that the people at Chiller, when you go there on Friday, I mean, you try to talk to anybody there, and including the owner, and it's like they're about to give up their ghost.
Yeah.
9 o'clock at night. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah." It's like it's such a tiring thing. I mean, I go
What?
there.
I don't know how Ron Adams does it for Monster Bash because he goes from morning until late at night. And I've talked to him a few times, and I've heard him talking to other people that he gets, during Monster Bash, he gets about 2 hours a night of
Wow.
sleep.
Oh
And that
my.
starts Thursday night because he's there late Thursday night wrapping it up. So 2 hours Thursday night, about 2 hours Friday night. Like, and when you see him, you would never tell. He's
Well,
full of energy, and like I'm like dragging my rear end behind me because I slept 4 or 5 hours.
yeah, but you
I'm like,
gotta
how do
look
these
at
people do this?
you gotta look at it this way, Joe. Ron, if you notice back in the day when I'm interviewing him, he had hair.
Yeah, well,
Right
yeah,
now-
that's true.
Right now he doesn't.
That's great. So Chuck and Cheri, you guys, I talked to you guys at Monster Bash, and man, that was fantastic meeting up with you guys. And we watched some good movies, took some good photos. I got to see the first time ever close up magic, and I had my eye on Chuck, man, and I couldn't get to it. He was too good, and Cheri was laughing at me and videotaping it, and I'm trying to get it. We had good lunch at Burgatory. I love that. That's like my new favorite place now.
Oh,
And
good.
we had a great time out there, and I know you guys have been busy with shows and all that, but tell us about some of your shows and what was your guys' experience at Monster Bash, your first time there?
Man, what can I say? Monster Bash. It was great. I mean, it was fantastic. I didn't really know what to expect because, you know what, I've never been to anything like that. You know, I mean, I've been to magic conventions, you know, so I didn't really know what to expect. But like you said, the people were very nice, very friendly.
Nice, yes.
We thought the hotel was great. It was clean. It was just a really cool place. And you know what? It was great to meet you, Joe, and your wife. I mean, you're very, very nice people, and we got a kick out of it.
Yeah, she's lovely, Joe. You guys make such a nice couple.
Yeah, Tony, and
she puts up with me pretty much.
Yeah. But you know what? It was great. You know what? A couple of the highlights for me anyway was sitting in the theater room. I mean, watching Scooby-Doo on Scooby-Doo, Where Are You on the big screen.
Eating your cereal.
eating our cereal that they gave us. That was
so cool.
That was so cool. And there was vintage commercials. Mikey eating the cereal.
So neat to see that.
I mean, and then we seen some really cool movies. We saw The Cat and the Canary, which I've never seen before.
That was really good.
Bob Hope, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, and as you know, we did a little video, and honestly, that was just like a snippet.
Right.
It really doesn't do the Monster Bash justice, as there's plenty of other rooms and different displays that we could have ventured over, but we made it short and sweet.
Yeah, so, you know, but it was fantastic. And I did have a chance to do some magic for Joe, and that's the stuff that I use in my regular close-up magic, walking from table to table. So it's exactly what I've been using for over 35 years. And
I tell you what, that was probably one of my highlights of Bash, sitting there with you guys watching that close-up magic. And then when we went to Burgatory, when you got to do the close-up magic to my wife, because she's never seen that either, and just watching her face, and she's like, what the heck?
Yeah, she was amazed also.
Yeah.
You guys were good audiences.
Very,
really
yeah,
were.
very good audiences. Oh, my goodness.
That was awesome, though.
There's a deck of cards, which I'll tell the listening audience. It's called the Haunted Pack. And I know Michael Mesmer,
yeah,
he also performs the haunted packs, but this is a deck of cards that I can show, and I have a card selected. I place it back into the pack and lay it face down on the table, and I don't go anywhere near it. And as Joe can tell you, it starts to slowly vibrate a little bit, and it actually cuts itself very slowly. It'll stop. It'll continue cutting. It'll actually come back. It'll make a complete cut. It's a very visual effect. And there's one card protruding from the deck, and that is the selected playing card.
Yeah, that was kind of freaky.
Yeah.
I thought that the best part was when I uploaded the video and I was watching it, was the one where Joe popped up behind you guys.
I love that part.
Oh, see, awesome. and a little behind the scenes information on that is, how many times did we shoot that video, Cheri?
3.
Really?
She kept pushing the
I
wrong
don't know
button.
what it was with me. I just kept hitting the wrong button.
I was trying to buy some books, and then I jumped up behind them. And then I hear, "Hey, we got to do it again. Something happened." So I'm like, jump behind them again. It was fun though.
So no wonder they're suffering from stress now.
But yeah, I tell you what though, guys, it's, you know, you guys definitely have to, both of you, all three of you have to make it to the June, because the June's about double the size of what the October one was. So there's a whole other side. You know, you have the movie room in the center, and then off to the right you have the dealer room. Well, in June, off to the left is you have people selling and autographing books. You have a lot more
cool
guests and all that signing autographs. And it's a lot bigger, a lot more vendors. Their October one, it's really nice. I think he does it as kind of like a startup for Halloween. I think this is his 4th year doing the October one, and it's great. But the June is the one. And actually, Eddie, it's probably better, you know, if you're going to make that long trip, is to come to the June one, because there's so much more to do and see there.
Yeah.
Joe, one question I wanted to ask you, which is kind of interesting that the June would be bigger than the October, but overall.
Yeah, that is kind of strange.
Yeah. Does he put the vendors together with the guests, or are there separate rooms for that?
No. So now with this new hotel, they're separate. There are some guests that will that are selling books or pictures and all that in the dealer room, but most of the guests are in a separate room by themselves, and there's usually about 20 of them or so. So it's kind of nice because it doesn't get too congested. You start getting people, you start getting some of these bigger guests there, and you might get a line of 10, 15, 20 people.
Oh.
So it's nice that it's separated because you don't get that congestion. So
one of the
works really
things
well.
one of the things they do, Joe, is when they have a guest like that, like Chiller usually gets some high end guests. When they had the Walking Dead guy there, right? They had him in a private room because he was there, and the line for that guy went around the corner, behind the back, and you have like 1,000 people. So you're trying to pass through a hallway that's no more than 3 feet wide, and you got to go sideways to cross the line each time. It was, to be honest, it's just overcrowded. I think that makes the kind of like not fun sometimes. But
and that's what I think, because this is the third hotel in I think the last 10 years, and they keep getting larger and larger. And I think the reason that Ron went with this hotel is because the not only is the main room, like when you first walk in for Creepy Classics, is bigger, but the movie viewing room is a lot larger. In the previous hotel, it was small, and there was constantly standing room only, especially for the speakers and all that. When you would have a panel, it was so packed, it would get hot and congested in there. Where this one, it's nice and large, it doesn't get congested, and it's perfect for perfect for it.
But one thing I did want to mention though, Cheri and I got up at 5 a.m, I believe.
Yeah.
And we drank our coffee and we jumped in the shower. And so we got there, Joe, at the hotel, as you know, probably at 7:15, 7:30 a.m. And so Cheri texted you, Joe, we're down in the lobby.
They didn't even open to wait.
Yeah. You know what? We don't mess around. And I think you had your alarm set, you said, for 8:30. So you're wondering who's texting me.
Yeah, I'm like, who the heck is texting this early? I'm like, man, I still had another hour to sleep.
Yeah,
I was up till I think about 3:30 the night before. I always stay for any of the late shows, and then for Saturday I got another long day because I stay for the late show as well. So I'm like, man, you guys are some early birds, man.
We are. We didn't want to miss cartoons at 8:00.
Yeah, we wanted to come for the cartoons. And the other thing that we had a chance, we did have a chance to meet the cast, or actually a few of the cast members from the land of the Lost.
That was your favorite,
and that was one of my favorite shows growing up. I actually watched that on a Saturday morning every Saturday. That was a Sid and Marty Croft production, back in the early to mid 70s. So the son was on there. Was there Will, I believe he went by, was his character. He seemed like a very, very nice man, and Holly. So it was it was just really, really cool to see them. So I thank them for making our childhood memories so nice.
Joe, I'm going to tell you guys something. Holly, if you would have seen her maybe 10 years ago, I think she suffered from some type of anorexia thing.
Yeah.
And she was so skinny. I saw her walking one time. I go, oh my God, it's like a walking skeleton.
Yeah.
It was sad. But I know that Will guy, what I found amazing is he looks pretty good. He looks like Greg Brady a little bit.
Yeah, he does.
He's very, very talkative. He's very nice man. Very nice.
But you just think if we were, I'm sorry, Joe. I was just gonna say if we were kids, he must be like 70 something.
Yeah, he looks good.
Yeah, I tell you what was cool is that what was that? That was Saturday evening. We got to watch a episode of Land of the Lost, and in the audience with us watching right along was Wesley Ury and Kathy Coleman. So that was really, we got to actually watch the show with a few of the cast members.
That was so cool, and they had a life-size Slee stack out there. Pretty cool. The one thing I did purchase, the one thing that caught my eye, it was a big, thick book on the Twilight Zone. It was like a compendium, and it had every episode in there, the budget, the cast members, of course, the flaws, certain things that didn't go right. I mean, very, very interesting. So that caught my eye, kind of him hauled around. I came back later and I did buy it. And,
because there was one left at that point.
Yeah.
I think he had a couple then.
He had two to begin with, but I did buy one of them, and it's really cool. You know what? I'm actually wrapping this thing up for Christmas, so I'll just open it up for one of my Christmas presents.
There you go, present to yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
I tell you what, that Martin Grahams Jr. that did that Twilight Zone book, he does a lot of pop culture books. He's done it on Green Hornet, The Shadow, a lot of old time radio shows and TV shows. I've got a ton of his books. They're all fantastic, and there is so much information, stuff that you would never even think about when you're, reading about a television show. Like you said, Chuck, like about the budget,
Right.
different, hiccups that happen during the
Exactly.
production. I mean, really in-depth stuff. His books are all fantastic. I would advise, anyone out there that's never heard of him or read any of his books, go on to Amazon or search his name, Martin Grams Jr., and he has a whole slew of books out there that he's either wrote himself or he's co-wrote with other people. I picked up last year a Lone Ranger one from him, and it's like, I don't know, 800 some pages. It took them 10 years to do.
Wow.
And it's all the lost episodes from the 30s from the radio show. And, he has tons of information on it. And then at the end, there's like, I don't know, 300 and 400 and some episodes with a synopsis on each one. If they had a copyright number, the budget, all the main players in it. It's fantastic. I mean, all his books are a good read with just more information than you would ever know what to do with.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, tell us about that wedding. We left before that happened.
Oh yeah. So Saturday night there was a wedding. One of the Monster Bash vendors, she's probably, I think, been there from the start. Cheri, I can't remember her last name. I'm gonna look it up here real quick, but she does a lot of her own. She makes like shirts and purses and all that stuff. So let's see, where is her name? So Terry Mount. So it was a wedding between Terry Mount and Tom Alsop. So this wedding, it was really, I tell you what, this was another one of the highlights of Monster Bash. So they had a nice, and if you guys want to see pictures out there, there's pictures on the forum on their House of the Unusual. But on the stage they had this nice little setup, and then her husband came out, and he was dressed as like a knight, and then she came out in like an all black bride outfit, and it was great. She Drac from the horror hostess from Drac and Karita, he walked her out because she's and he's an older man, so I don't think she has much family, so he walked her out. And what was really cool, and it got me a little choked up a little bit, but everybody there, which was really cool, everybody there gave her away to the groom. So
that's nice.
So the guy that was doing Mark Statler, who's a reverend in Ohio, he asked Drac, he goes, "Do you give her away?" And Drac goes, "Well, that's up to the whole audience. Is everybody going to give her away?" Then everyone had to reply yes. So that was really cool to like get everybody involved, because it's all like a family there. So that was really cool. And the wedding was fantastic. And then after they had cake and everything, but nice. It was definitely a highlight. There was I don't know if there was a dry eye in the audience there.
Aww,
that's nice.
That's sweet.
So yeah, it was something different, and it was they brought us like all in. We were all like their family and all that. So it was really cool. Yeah, I'm glad they did that there, and that we were all a part of it.
What was the name of the movie? I keep forgetting from the Bowery Boys that we saw.
Oh yeah, I missed it.
I can't remember what that was called. It was good.
That was on Saturday. Let's see. So was that in the evening or was that in the morning?
I think it was in the morning, Cheri.
Wasn't it Ghost on the Loose, Chuck?
Yeah, that might
be it. It was a haunted. Yeah, it was.
It had Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
No, there was
I don't know.
Was it Masterminds?
That was it, Masterminds.
Yeah, Masterminds it had Glenn Strange, the Bowery Boys, Leo Corsi.
I tell you, that was really good. That was really excellent, fantastic.
It had the Glenn Strange as the Frankenstein from Abbott and Costello.
They were doing the brain swap. Is that the one you're talking about, Chuck?
Yeah, the brain swap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, talking about doing things, let me just mention something to you guys really quick. I had kind of a brain swap myself this weekend. I was trying to record a video, which I wish was not getting any views, to be honest with you. I did a review. As I'm doing the review, I'm there reviewing. I figure I'm going to do an hour and 10 minutes, and then I'm going to cut it up into 4, spots. And lo and behold, I'm recording there. And after I finished recording halfway through the box I was opening, I realized that the last half hour after that, I recorded nothing because the phone ran out of memory. And I'm there yapping away thinking I'm being recorded. Okay.
Oh my God.
And to add insult to injury, I did it in front of a green screen. Now, I haven't practiced with green screens on LumaFusion. So here's what I got as an end result. One, It's a horrible green screen because I forgot to bring my lighting. Second, it looks like the stuff around me is fading. And I pasted in back of me the famous post office in Florida where the Melton Company sent me my ghost. But the funny thing about the whole thing is that it looks like I'm missing bottom teeth when I talk because I don't know what I did to the video. It's horrible, but it does have a good review of the products, and I had to put it up because I promise people every Monday. And I also promised them to be a much better video this week. That was a horror in my side.
Hey, you know what? I checked that out. It looked pretty good. Is that the one we have with the building on the back? It looked pretty good.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way, Joe.
Yeah. Hey, the one thing I did want to mention coming up, I think next week, we did a brief Halloween video for Chuck's Corner. So make sure you folks watch that. It'll be on the House of the Unusual's YouTube channel. I do an arm cremation type of thing where my arm catches on fire and it changes to like a skeletal type of thing, and then it goes back. It's like pretty cool. And as Cheri mentioned, there's a brief video, just under 2 minutes, of us touring the Monster Bash. So that'll be pretty cool.
Oh, very cool. Hey guys, I want to while we're talking about Monster Bash, there's some movies that I seen there I want to discuss, and I want to get your guys' take on them as well to see if any of you guys have seen them, because some of them were first time views for me. Some of most of the Bowery Boy movies I've seen before in the past, and that I'm a huge fan of the Bowery Boys and Kids, all that. But there were some movies this week, and I haven't seen that were absolutely fantastic. And there was one in particular which I wish I could get that hour and a half of my life back, and we're going to go into that one pretty soon here. But so the first one that they played Friday morning was a movie called My Favorite Brunette from 1947. Is anybody familiar with that one?
Yes, we just watched it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because you were telling us about it, and also we got turned on again with Bob Hope when we saw The Cat and the Canary.
Okay.
So, and I said, I think Joe mentioned this movie, so we watched it, and we're a big fan now.
Yeah, very good.
It's very good.
Yeah, I thought that was a great movie. It's not, I don't think you would really call it a horror or monster movie, more of like a thriller, but it did have Lon Chaney in it.
Yes.
And it did have Peter Lorre in it, which they played some really scary characters. Peter Lorre's always spooky, and Lon Chaney, playing that the character that he did was pretty, spooky himself. But I thought it was a great movie. It was a kind of like a dark comedy parody take on the old film noirs. So yeah, I loved it. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was
he seemed like a big man, Lon Chaney. Huh? He seemed like a big man. That guy's hands were like catcher's mitts. Oh my. If he did card palming like I do, he could palm a jumbo deck.
Yeah, really. I think he was in his in the sixes, maybe 6'4" or something like that.
He's a big man, I could tell, and his hands
really.
Yeah, he was a big guy, and you could tell in all these movies, especially while standing next to Peter Lorre, because he was very small, so it made him even look bigger. But Peter Lorre's just like, that's someone you do not want to walk into a room and see him staring at you.
Why not, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, with those bulging eyes, man.
Eddie, have you ever seen that movie?
No, I actually, now that you mentioned that, it's beginning to make better. The one that I've seen that I was really shocked how nice it was a show called My Living Doll. And that was done by Newmar from Catwoman from Batman and Robin.
Yeah, Julie Newmar.
Yeah, and Julie Newmar, when she did My Living Doll, is kind of like, what do you call it? It's like I Dream of Jeannie, but the difference is it's supposed to be an android robot.
Oh,
cool. The guy finds her, and the problem is, unfortunately, some of the episodes are lost in time. But if you watch it, it's a very catchy show. I actually bought some episodes, but one thing I'm going to tell you guys right now, when you're saying about that, and like my favorite, and the old like Peter Lorre and stuff, when you watch Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, it does not give the size of Lon Chaney as that huge. It doesn't give you that impression. So I'm kind of shocked by what you're saying, other than maybe Abbott was tall.
Well, Eddie, hold that thought there, because they did play in. That's your favorite movie, correct?
It's Hold That Ghost. Hold That Ghost and that one of my favorite movies. Yes.
Okay, so they did play Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein from 1948 that evening, and I tell you
Wow.
what, the movie room was packed for that. That's all. I think everybody out there seen that movie 100 times, and it's always just fantastic.
Yep, that's the part where he says, when the moon is full, I turn into a wolf, and he goes, you and 100 other guys, and he smacks he smacks Costello. He goes, I thought you believed me.
Yeah, so that was cool. They played on Friday a bunch of Bowery Boys movies, which was absolutely fantastic. One of the movies I tried to watch, The Ghost and Mr. Chicken from 1960.
We love
It's one of my favorites.
You know what? I made it about 20 minutes in, and I said, I just can't get into this movie.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I couldn't. I didn't find it funny. And I love Don Knotts. I'm a huge fan of his. I just, for some reason, I couldn't get into the movie. So I walked out of there, and I did some other stuff, and we're out talking with people and all that.
I feel you, Joe.
What's that?
I feel you, because I feel the same way about the movie.
Yeah,
I watched it, but
some people love it, some people don't. I didn't, but I was waiting for, right after that was Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, so I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
Then later that night they had a good movie. It's called The Castle of Monsters from 1958. It's a Mexican monster movie, and it's pretty much a ripoff of every Universal monster at that time there. But it's really cool. There's an old castle. You have all the monsters, a mad scientist. There's a real nice twist in the plot. So if anybody ever gets a chance, even if we watched it without subtitles and you could still kind of follow the movie. Right. I have it on DVD. I've watched it with the subtitles, and both ways you don't really need to understand what's going on with it. It's a very simple movie, but it's fun, So we had that with some tacos, and then one of my favorite movies, and we've talked about it before on here, which played later that night, was the Old Dark House from 1932.
Oh yes,
that's a good one. I love
it. It's that movie's just more and more gets better and better the more and more I watch it. So I absolutely love that, and we're gonna go back to that movie here in a minute, but on Saturday was chock full of movies and cartoons. We got to watch some old cartoons in the movie. In the morning, Scooby-Doo with some cereal. That was
cute.
Goodness, that was
that was fantastic.
And we did check around for Joe for the movie Freaks. We asked around, I couldn't find it anywhere.
We couldn't find it nowhere.
Yeah.
No, we asked quite a few of the dealers, and we looked for Eddie's robot plans.
Yeah,
we looked, we couldn't find it. We checked.
we tried, man, but we could not find it. But they had Saturday. There was a ton of other good horror comedies. A lot with the Bowery Boys and all that. But one of the films, and man, well, before we get to this film, I just want to say at 11 o'clock at night we watched the Three Stooges, which was an hour of Three Stooges presented by Ohio TV legend Son of Ghoul, and they were absolutely hilarious. I mean, everybody in there was people that were crying from laughing. It was so funny, these episodes they were showing, and they were all kind of, horror related, getting ready for the Halloween season.
Nice.
So that was absolutely fantastic. But the one movie, now they played this at 12:30. It was the last movie. It was The Old Dark House from 1963. And this was a Hammer William Castle production combination. Have you guys seen it out there? Anybody?
Did you?
Not that version. I saw the earlier.
I've never even heard of this 1963 version, and my God, if I could get an hour and a half of my life back, I wish I could.
Wow.
It was tough. There was maybe about 15 of us watching it from the start, and by the end, there was maybe 6 of us left.
Wow.
It wasn't good, huh?
It was absolutely horrible. It wasn't, oh my gosh, it was it wasn't funny. There was no kind of plot to it. It had a nice, the ending had a nice little twist to it, but it wasn't enough to save the movie. It just it wasn't good whatsoever. No wonder why, myself and a few other people I talked to never heard of it. It's guys out there, don't watch this movie. I'm telling you, If you're
Joe.
gonna watch the old Dark House, rewatch the original one from 1932 because this one, it just, it's not that good.
Joe.
But Saturday was full of a lot of good movies, though.
Mhm.
Besides that one.
Yeah.
Joe, you got to know this one. Tell me the name because I'm thinking you're the expert. Joe, there's a movie you reminded me of when you said that the one that was Peter Lorre in it and was it Lon Chaney? There's a movie that I think Peter Lorre is in it with Vincent Price, and Vincent Price is funny because he must be like 6'5" because he's always hunched over.
You're talking about The Raven.
No, not The Raven. Is that the one that, if I'm correct, that he's an undertaker? Vincent Price.
Yes, and I almost bought that movie there.
You should have.
Is that the Comedy of Horrors? No.
Comedy of Horrors, yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
That he tries to kill people.
Yeah, that was good. Oh,
What's it? How do you make sure your Undertaker business is going good by killing the people, your customers or something like that?
Yeah. They actually had a poster there, Joe. It was an original poster back in the poster room of the Comedy of Horrors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was an original one. It was not very big, but it was fairly large. I think it was $400.
Oh, wow!
See that? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a funny film.
Yeah, I almost bought that on DVD there, but I couldn't remember if I had it somewhere. So I said, if I don't have it, I'll buy it next time at next Monster Bash. Yeah, it's been probably 20 years since I've seen that one.
That's a funny movie. The one video that I almost bought there, and again, just like you, I wasn't sure if I had it, is Westworld. I think there was a DVD there, and I said, I don't know if I have it or not.
That's with Yul Brynner.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I have it. I think
you probably do.
I got so much stuff here.
I don't think I've seen the original one.
Oh, Joe,
you
have to watch this. Oh.
I'll have to put that on my ever expanding list.
Westworld, Freaks, and Dr. Fives, the first one. I'm obsessed with those three movies.
Did you guys see The Flight That Disappeared there somewhere? Just out of curiosity.
Yes. Yeah, we watched it.
We watched it, but we didn't see the DVD for sale there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. We watched the movie.
No. I'm talking about the DVD for sale. I'm about to make a copy for myself of the YouTube.
No, we didn't see it.
Did you, Joe? See that?
Which movie was it?
The Flight That Disappeared.
Oh, no, I didn't see that one there. No, I've never seen that on DVD.
If I say the airplane, you'll make fun of me. What happened?
I've never seen that on DVD.
That's what I'm saying.
No, me neither. Oh, and Cheri wore her shirt, the Goon from the Black Lagoon. Did you see the pictures posted on the forum?
My man.
yeah. And there's photos of it too up on the forum site too, if anybody wants to see it.
And she wore his House of the Unusual hoodie too, so that was cool.
With me and Chuck's picture on the back.
Yeah.
You didn't get that part though.
What's that?
You guys didn't film the back of it with
No,
I don't know if we have it at the back of it at all.
No, you don't.
You do.
I'll have to check it out. I think I do somewhere. You'll have to look.
You did. You had me turn around.
Yeah. I'll have to look, Eddie.
Over by the pumpkins.
Yep.
So Eddie, I want to get back to another movie that you mentioned here in a second that they played on Sunday, and we got to talk about this movie a little bit. But for Sunday, they had a few movies there because it was a half a day. They played Arsenic and Old Lace in the morning. I didn't get a chance to watch that because I was cruising around the dealer room for some last minute items. But at 12:30, they had this guy is absolutely amazing. His name is Zach Zito, and he is a one-man theater show, and he does mostly Edgar Allan Poe, and he memorizes the short stories word by word from beginning to end.
Wow.
And he had everybody when he did his rendition of The Telltale Heart. It was so fantastic and so much energy that at the end of it, you heard everyone in there just let out this, we were holding our breath because we were so enthralled with him. He's fantastic. I posted pictures of him as well on the forum site, I believe. If not, I'll post some on there later. But he's fantastic. He is always he is the highlight of Monster Bash for me, watching him. And he's there every Monster Bash, does an hour production. by himself. If there's maybe some of the Hammer girls there, he might have them come in and read a part or do a segment, but he's unbelievable. And I've been trying to find him online to see if he performs anywhere. I can't find any information on him, so I may have to email Ron Adams to try to get information. When I do, I'll definitely post it and we'll talk about that. But the movie I just don't know about this movie, Eddie, because I know you've mentioned it before, and I tried to watch it and I couldn't. But it is The Ghost Breakers from 1940.
We just watched that last night with Bob Hope.
Unbelievable.
I could not get into it.
Really?
I couldn't. I made it. I tried. I made it about 40 minutes in, and I said, I just can't sit here no more and watch.
We were wondering about Eddie because she inherits that mansion in Cuba.
Yeah, from Cuba.
Yeah, on a black island near Havana.
Yeah.
Did you see it, Eddie?
I saw that movie such a long time ago that I'm trying to remember it.
Yeah.
I know you've talked about it before, and I don't. This is the first time I've ever seen it that I remember. I don't ever remember seeing it before, and I couldn't make it through it.
You know what? I love the Cuban theme to that. You should really watch it if you don't remember. It's really, really cool. It showed some of the restaurants and the hotels. It was cool.
Let me ask you a question though, because I don't remember actually talking about the film. You sure it was me, Joe?
Yeah, I want to say that you've mentioned it before, you've talked about it before in the past.
Isn't that strange? He mentions two
movies we watched.
Last
couple days.
Well, that's why it is. He met the guy from the Ghost book. What was his name again? Charles Rosny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe he did. Somebody had mentioned it before, and I like I said, I couldn't get into it, and I know there's a lot of people out there that love that movie. And you say it's one of the best ones next to Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, but I couldn't, man.
I agree. You see, the thing with Bob Hope is you throw him or not. You know what I mean? Like either he's okay or he's not my favorite actor. It's not like an actor that I would say whatever.
But I tell you what, real quick before we move on, what we did watch, I've kind of passed over here. Saturday or Sunday morning was the film shorts of Our Gang, and those were I love the Our Gang one, but there was one called I think it was called the Choo Choo, and it's a silent version, and my gosh, it was from beginning to end, it was just pandemonium, and everybody in there was just cracking up laughing. It was so funny. So if you guys get to see it, it's the I believe they remade it in for the talkies, but the original one was a silent, and I'm gonna look it up here.
I love Our Gang. Our Gang is cool. They're too cool. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So it is Choo Choo from 1923 was the original, and they remade it in 32. But we watched the 23 version. Oh my gosh, was it hilarious, man?
You know what? We'll have to check that out. You know what? For years, I actually studied, what the different kids under the characters. A lot of them had tragic endings, and they died very young. I think we talked about that before. I think Alfalfa got shot over like an argument when he was 19 years old or something.
He got shot over $5 he owed somebody.
$5. Froggy got killed on the back of a motorcycle. One of my favorite characters was Chubby, and he had a glandular disorder, and he died when he was like 19, I think, or something like that.
Oh wow,
that's unreal.
I think very few lived on, to be honest. And then look at this Beretta, the guy who played Beretta.
That guy's around forever.
Yeah, but the thing with him is he wound up in jail because I think he killed his wife or something.
Yeah, I think he got off the hook though, Eddie. So I don't know. Yeah,
technicality.
And then the other guy was the guy. And then the other guy was the one in the Superman movie, Perry White. He was the other guy. He's the guy who says, Miss Crabtree.
Yeah.
Crying in the car.
Right. Even the girl that played Darla, she died. She was like 49, I think. Yeah. She had a blood transfusion that didn't go right or something.
That's a shame.
She caught some kind of an illness from that. She was in the Claw, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
The Claw.
The movie. Remember The Claw? I think with Agnes Moorehead. I think she was the girl that got shot on the staircase, if I'm not mistaken.
You would think that guys, You would think that most of those people back in the day would grow like for example, the kid, which was the guy who played Uncle Fester, and he was the first kid ever on television.
Coogan, Jackie.
Jackie Coogan. That's right. He played with Charles Chaplin.
Yeah.
And they went on and they died pretty broke. I think his family took in fact, because of Jackie Coogan, they came up with that thing
that
to
law.
prevent the law to prevent the parents from taking the money from kids.
His parents robbed the hell out of him. That's a shame.
Yeah, they did. And then when you're talking about movies like that, also one thing that's really kind of funny with our gang, one of my favorites, when they built that car, that they want to have a race car.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was cool.
But our gang shorts are some of the best out there. Even the silent ones, they're fantastic. And I've been meaning to get some of the collected editions over the years, and I need to get on and buy them. I know a few years ago I got screwed on eBay. Some lady sent me the wrong disc, and I had to fight to get my money back and all that. But man, they're great. Those along with the Stooges. I mean, I could sit all day and watch those.
Oh,
it's a big bowl of cereal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it was quite a weekend at Monster Bash. I mean, it was packed. There was a lot of good deals there. I picked up a lot of cool items, mostly books and magazines, of course, because I have this crazy obsession with reference books for horror and sci-fi. So picked up a lot of those, but there was a lot of cool stuff there. So I enjoyed it. The guests were great. The staff was absolutely fantastic. Like you said, Chuck, the hotel was great. It was nice and clean, and it was just overall a good time. And now, it's the countdown till June's bash. So,
I want to tell you guys, and you, Joe, in particular, I had promised to send you something before the show got there, but I realized when I got here that the size I picked up was 2XL, and you're XL. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go find the box again. Just to let you know, I'm once I get the boxes to you guys out, which I'm really putting some time into making them. I need you guys to do an individual unboxing, Joe. I know you don't go and film much, but I want you to do it that time if you could.
Yeah, no problem.
At least
you Eddie anything.
All right, thank you. Because it's going to be cool. Those are going to be great to add to the YouTube channel. But I wish I would have been there, man.
I know.
Oh yeah, I tell you what, if you're gonna make the trip, you're better off, making for that June one because it's a lot larger.
And I'm gonna probably get a hotel room when I go there for the June. I'm definitely.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I tell you what, the timing on this though. Oh my goodness, I was doing a show almost every day, and then I finished up the magic lecture I did,
and then we had to walk around that evening.
Yeah, and I had to walk around that evening, and then I finally caught a few hours sleep, and I was just like, oh man, because I was hoping actually to stay a little later, but we were just so tired.
Yeah.
Oh my
goodness. You get so exhausted. When I go to Chiller, my chill is this coming weekend, I think, the 28th. But I got to tell you something. When you go there, and we usually get there like around 1 p.m. We don't go because it opens up at 5 p.m. Unlike, you guys open up early. They do open at 10 a.m., I think, or 9 a.m. on Saturday, but we only go Fridays. But by the time 11 o'clock rolls around, you're dragging your feet, man. It's tiring, man.
Yeah, what I liked is the people were very nice, and they did not have like an attitude. You know what I mean? We got a magic convention coming up in January, and I don't know what that's going to be like. But I know firsthand most of entertainers, such as magicians and ventriloquists, they have an ego about them. You know what I mean? And that's just part of life.
Yeah, I have to confess, I've never watched Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. I got to watch that one.
You got something to do then, because that is a great.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah.
No, but we can forgive you for calling him the creature, the goon from the Blacklist.
He forgave me.
Oh my God.
So I had a shirt with the Fright Factory on it.
Yeah.
The thing maker Cheri picked up for me. It was awesome. It's a nice shirt.
Yeah.
It's really nice. And I bumped into a friend of mine there. He recognized me. He's a local magician.
Yeah.
And
from Greensburg.
Yeah, from Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Oh. So that was kind of neat.
Did you both make each other disappear once?
Well, you know what? I'm looking online right now, and they announced Monster Bash for June. So it's going to be June 16th through 18th. Same hotel, the Marriott Pittsburgh North. And so some of the guests that they've announced already is Audrey Dalton from Monster That Challenged the World, Charlotte Austin from Frankenstein 1970, Lynn Lugosi Sparks, Bella Lugosi's granddaughter, which that should be fascinating. I'm sure she'll give a nice little talk there and talk about her grandfather. We also have Beverly Washburn from Spider Baby. She's been there in the past. She is absolutely fantastic. Real down to earth person. Go up, talk to her, take a selfie and all that. She's really cool. Tom Savini. Everybody should know Tom Savini.
Yeah.
That would be
legend.
Cool. Yeah, he's a local guy, Joe. He's up in Menneson, I believe. That's only an hour away from us. Yeah,
he's always at the bashes. I think this one he missed. He had something going on out in California for a movie, so we could forgive him for that. But he'll be back for June. We also have Pamela Pierce from Legend of Boggy Creek, John Russo, Night of the Living Dead, author and historian Tom Weaver, author and historian Frank Delastrito, author and historian Greg Mank, and TV horror host Son of Ghoul and Drac and Karita. So that's so far the people coming to that Monster Bash, and they're always adding more. So check out on their Facebook page or go to creepyclassics.com and you can catch up with all their posts and all that, and they're up to dates. And I tell you what's really cool that he does. If you go to monsterbashnews.com, there's a place on there that says today's news, or you could also sign up for an email. And every Friday he puts out this really cool email. It starts off with like a kind of Rondo remembers, some of his old memories of, being a kid, a monster kid and all that. And then it has all the updated news on Monster Bash, some new classic stuff that's coming out. And it's a really cool email. It's like your own little Monster Bash flyer right in your email every Friday. So he's really good about that. It comes out every week. And I look forward to every Friday to seeing that in my inbox and reading it. So
that's cool.
Check that out.
Cool,
we might have to get the hotel, stay overnight. Friday and Saturday we could stay up late.
Yeah, you know what?
Party.
Yeah, you know what? And I've been you have to look on the Facebook page because I know sometimes they offer deals for Monster Bash convention, and they'll post it on there when the hotel does. But what I usually do is I kind of book real quick. At whatever price, I try to find a good price, and then I just keep searching, all year, and every once in a while keep looking to see if there's that deal going on or if there's a cheaper price, because the hotel has a really good cancellation policy. So if you find a better deal, you book that and, just cancel the more expensive one. But yeah, it's cool to stay in the hotel because you're right there and you could just kind of, have a good old monster time and not worry about where you're going to sleep.
Yeah. That's right.
I have gone to a few and slept in the car before, and not fun, but you gotta do what you gotta do as a monster kid.
That's right.
That's a good one, Joe. You're very dedicated.
Yeah, absolutely. So hey guys, we got about 2 minutes left here. So what's some final thoughts for this podcast? Because we've talked about a lot and had a lot of fun. So what do we got, Eddie? What do you got?
Well, I want to say, first of all, I just want to say for people out there, the new issue of Stupid Comic is coming out soon. And, if you guys go to stupidcomic.com, that's STOOPID. Is that correct? Is it stupidcomics.com or is it stupidcomicnews.com?
Yeah, I was just on there and to see if he has he's announced issue number 8, but he hasn't put a photo up of it yet, so I don't know.
I paid for mine.
I'm reading on its message. It says, sorry for the delays, but due to cost, issue number 8 will be coming out in an all new format, and that was posted on the 13th of this month. So I don't know what that means, man. Hopefully we could get some information on it. So Ski, if you're listening to this podcast, let us know on the forum what's going on with the Stupid Comics magazine, so we could let all of our listeners know, because everyone out there, we're waiting for number 8, man. We're waiting.
Really? All right.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, that's all we got for tonight. I want to thank you guys for joining us, all of our listeners out there from all over the world, because, man, we've got listeners on just about every continent, and we're going to get a few on Antarctica too, man. That's our goal. So we want to thank everyone for listening out there. Give us a good review. Subscribe to our channel. Check us out on YouTube, House of the Unusual. Subscribe to it, like our videos and all that, and help support us, because it does help. The good reviews and the subscriptions. It definitely helps us with all these algorithms and everything to get out to more people, and that's what we're about, building this community and this family of everything cool that we like. And check us out, houseoftheunusual.com. We have a free forum there. Sign up. There's tons of cool stuff always going on there, so you definitely want to check it out. And guys, that's all I got. So Eddie, Chuck, Cheri, thank you for joining us. Everyone out there in podcast land, thank you for joining us, and good night, everyone.
All right, good night.
Thank you.
God bless.